6:31, folks. We're gonna go ahead and get started if everyone's okay with it. Let me know when we're up. All right, we're good. Welcome, everyone. Today is October 24th, 2022. I'm gonna call the meeting order. Angie, can we have a call the roll, please?
Recording in progress.
All right, did we get the intro? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Biederman,
Present.
Mr. Bixby,
Present.
Dr. Matata,
Present.
Ms. Payne,
Present.
Judge Salinas,
Present.
and Ms. Tribble. We do have a quorum.
Okay, we're gonna move on to public comment and commentary at every board meeting. We are open with the time. We open with the time for public comment. We welcome feedback from the public about our Indianapolis libraries. And this time is when the public may address the library board. If there are several of you represented in the same group, please select a spokesman. Please do not repeat the same comments someone else has offered. Please note that this public comment time is not the appropriate forum for commenting on matters related to elected employee misconduct. In such matters, we brought to the attention of the library's interim CEO and Human Resources Department. The matters can be promptly addressed and in compliance and with established library policy procedures. A 5-minute time limit will be allowed. Each speaker should give a name and their address. Oh, no, it's changing. Do we have anyone signed up? We don't. Angie, do we have any letters?
No.
Okay. We don't have any speakers from the public today. We don't have any letters to be read, not read to the record, but to be accepted or read by or passed to the board. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes as item 4. This is approve the executive, regular, and special meeting. This is a regular meeting held September 26, 2022. Is there a motion to approve the minutes at the regular meeting held September 26, 2022?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Angie, can we have a call to the roll, please?
Mr. Biederman,
Approved.
Mr. Bixby,
Approved.
Dr. Matata,
Approved.
Ms. Payne,
Approved.
Judge Salinas,
Approved.
and Ms. Tribble. Approved. Thank you.
All right, minutes are approved. We'll move on to the finance committee. Dr. Payne.
CFO, Anita, please come.
If you could let me know what page we're gonna start.
Yes. Evening, everyone.
Evening.
We will start on page 21.
Okay.
'21 reflects the operating fund balance, operating fund revenue and expenditures for a month ending September 30th, 2022. Our revenue, which is 9/12 of the month, of the year, which is 75% of the year, of the annual budget of Indianapolis Marion County Library. The year-to-date amount is $20,994,446, which is 55% of the budget. And our intergovernmental revenue is $5.4 million, 65% of the budget, which is favorable. Of the $8.2 million budget, month-to-date amount is $362,623. We received 9/12 of a Bar Lloyd this year. And the fines and fees is $91,621, which is 70% of our budget. And charges for services is $461,982, which is 79% of our budget. And our miscellaneous revenue is $521,001, which is we received 31% of our budget. Total revenue is $27,830,634. Overall is 58% of our overall budget, which is the same as last year. And for expenditures, for the personnel services and benefits, we received $21,039,850, which is 67% of our budget. And our supplies we received, we spent $764,136, which is 56% of our budget. And other services and charges, we spent $9,421,252, which is 53% of our budget. And our capital outlay, we spent $1,981,284, which is 60% of our budget. The total expenditures year to date is $33,206,522, which is 62% of our budget. This will reflect that our expenditures is more than our revenue. However, if you look on page 27, which is our cash flow projections, you'll see that in the month of October, November, we receive our more property taxes, and that will help our revenue. So on pages, you'll see the receipts and disbursements. And page 29 reflects the statuses of our investment report. Investments is the report for the investment. And the remaining of the report from page 30 through 39 are fund balances for the gifts and grants and other detailed reports, detailed income statements for gifts and grants.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
When it comes down to the grants that we go for, are there particular ones that we're targeting now?
At this particular time, which is at the end of the fiscal year, no. No.
I'm asking because I'm starting to see a number of ones that say letter of interest required or letter of interest November and those dates. So I wondered whether we were looking at some particular grants and what would they be for as we project.
I don't have those, but if you see those, you think they'll be good for the library, please feel free to share with us.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Mikada, if I could jump in, that's really more of a foundation question
Yes.
because they help us with those. And so the foundation will be able to send you that answer regarding any of those grants. So they are continually looking for grants for us for different things that we might fit. And so we work with Indiana Humanities. There's actually going to be a meeting this week where we're going to be meeting with the grant officer. Mike Williams is going to be doing that. So we're constantly looking for grants. So I can't tell you exactly the ones we're working on, but we are working on them, and we'll let Roberta and her staff let you know about that.
That's perfect. Thank you. Could you tell us a little bit more about what's under the the miscellaneous section under the revenue? It's 131% budget.
Yeah, I thought I heard her say 31. Is it 131 or 31?
Yeah, it's one.
It's 131, which is 31% over the budget. And if you look on page 24, that gives you the detailed miscellaneous revenue that we have. There you go. And that. Yes.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
So the property taxes that's projected for December, is that locked in or is that what you're hoping? Yeah, that's the big one there.
Right,
And-
we receive notification for October, November, and we typically receive a December notification.
Assuming those projections are met, as far as where we usually are at this time compared to in previous years, you and anticipating any expenditures that we have for the rest of the year, are we? Would you think we're doing okay?
Yes, I believe we're doing okay. We're currently going through our budget meetings right now where we meet with each department in regards to the remaining POs. And right now we look in good stand.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
Does the board have any further questions? You're asking us to accept the report. Well. Or for accepted for audit. Is there a motion?
Someone.
There's a second.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Seeing none, Angie, can we have a call to roll?
Mr. Biederman,
Approved.
Mr. Bixby, Dr. Matada,
Approved.
Ms. Payne,
Approved.
Judge Salinas,
Approved.
and Ms. Tribble. Approved. Thank you.
Motion passes. The report is accepted for audit. Resolution 57.
And that starts on page 41. Resolution 57 two thousand twenty-two is for the investment policy amendment and reauthorization. The background of this resolution, the library is required to have an approved investment policy that outlines the investment practices of the library and follows the requirements of the Indiana Code 5-13-9. The library updated and reauthorized its investment policy in 2018. The resolution 56 2018, and the policy were made effective for the period of 4 years for the date of approval. The investment policies are due for review and reauthorization. The attached investment policy reflects in limited modification to clarify certain provisions to reflect recent changes in the Indiana Code. The library staff recommends that the proposed amendment to and reauthorization of the investment policies reflect in the attachment. So on page 44, 121-2 investments. The only change that was made there was we included the resolution, the last resolution number 56-2018, which was approved on December the 17th of 2018. So every 4 years, we have to review, revise, and get approval from the board for this investment policy.
And that's the only amendment you made to it, right?
The other amendment was on page 46. And on the second to the last paragraph, we included 2-year maturity limitation included on section 121-11.
Is that also required by statute? Or is that something we just do?
That's something
Tax
around
code, okay.
25.
Does the board have any questions on resolution 57? Is there a motion to approve resolution 57?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the matter? Seeing none, Angie, can we recall the vote?
Mr. Peterman,
Okay.
Mr. Bixby,
Approved.
Dr. Matada,
Approved.
Ms. Payne,
Approved.
Judge Salinas,
Approved.
Ms. Tribble. Approved. Thank you.
Motion carries. Item C.
And that's first on page 51. This is a finance presentation on 2 policies. Really, Dr. Nakata and Ms. Payne asked that we do like finance education to the board, just little snippets of that. So it won't be long or detailed. So I think this is maybe 6 or 7 slides. If you want, yes. So the 2 policies we're going to discuss is the investment policy and the general operating cash fund balance policy. The investment policy, IPS communicates to the library's investment goals and the strategies that will serve as a guidepost for managing the funds. And the general operation cash fund balance is the balance that reflects agency financial health and readiness to pay and support expenses that are not funded otherwise. The investment objective, and this comes from actually the investment policy that was just passed for the objectives. So the primary objectives of the library financial investments in the priority orders are legality, safety of the principal, liquidity, and return of investments. Anyone have any questions in regards to those 4 objectives?
Just a quick question. So do we get to know what those investments are and if they are the kinds of investments that are ones that are speaking to, for example, sustainability and
Yes.
climate and that kind of thing?
So in our financial treasury report on page 29, you have the investment report, and it gives you the detail of what we invest the library's money in. And also provides the percentage that the return for that investment. Okay.
Thank you so much for breaking that down.
You're
Much
welcome.
appreciated.
The other objectives are the credit risk and interest risk. So the credit risk is that the library would minimize the credit risk, which is the risk for loss due to failure of security, insurer, or backer. And the interest risk is the library would minimize the interest rate risk, which is the risk that is the market value of the securities of portfolios will fall due to changes in the market interest rates. Any questions in regards to that? The last policy is the operating fund balance policy. The purpose of this policy is to establish a key element of the financial stability of the Indianapolis-Marion County Library by setting guidelines for the general fund balance. The unrestricted fund balance is an important measure of economic stability. It is essential that the Indianapolis-Marion County Library maintain adequate levels of unrestricted fund balance to mitigate financial risks that can occur from unforeseen revenue fluctuation, unanticipated expenditures, and to ensure stable tax rates. The fund balance also provides cash flow liquidity for the Indianapolis-Marion County Public Library during the operation and is crucial for long-term financial planning.
So with that unrestricted fund balance, something that comes up might be an example of what? Just like an unforeseen.
The unrestricted fund balance simply means that the funds are not tied to any other projects or anything like that. So if we had maybe a utility bill come up and we can use that for that payment or rent payments for other locations and stuff like that.
Or like we've had a case where something happened with one of our branches, then that fund would be tapped into for, I remember Adam was sharing with us something that had come up in regards to one of our branches. And we needed to expend something. Just using that as an example.
Right.
Adam said, what?
No, Adam has a budget now. If he exhausted all his budget, then we're going.
Then we could go.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. So in the case of needing something that had to be, that was not budgeted, then we could go to that unrestricted.
This unrestricted balance is really for anything that once all our budget has been exhausted, we can't move money around to any of the characters, and then we start utilizing this. And this is really reflected on slide, was page 58 of the packet, that slide. So the long range plan. So which is projected like in 2024-25, if we don't receive additional lit or co-ed, then we'll start utilizing our operating fund balance. So that's why we have to keep advocating for additional more money.
Any questions from the board? Yes, please.
Oh, okay. So the operation fund balance, the background, the fund balance policy was originally adopted in April of 2010, resolution 19-2010. At this time, the board established a minimum fund balance of 10% of the revenue collected during the budget year due to the recent circuit breaker legislation and its impact of the library revenue. The board found it necessary to revise the policy to ensure that sufficient funds are available to cover day-to-day operations of the library. Sorry about my voice. The goal was to establish an unrestricted minimum fund balance in the general operating fund equivalent to the amount necessary to avoid the need for tax anticipation warrants during the budget year. Therefore, the eliminate any need to borrow the fund's operation. Currently, our operating fund balance is 35 million, which is good. Cash is king right now. However, as we look at the long-term range plan, that every year that is going to dwindle down. So again, I highly recommend advocating for additional funds for the library.
That's exactly the reason why I was asking about those grants. So glad that Michelle talked about the foundation. The foundation has been doing a wonderful job of continuing to develop additional funds for the library, and that's a good thing. Whenever, like I said, 35 million is going to get wound down. And what does it mean for us to continue to look for additional funds?
Right. So the last page, which is page 59 of the report, but last page of the slide, this reflects the proposed 2023 budget. And it shows that we're 5.3% more than what we our current fiscal year. However, our inflation rate is 8%. So this lets us know that we're only 5% over our past budget, but our inflation rate, what means our expenditure is going to increase, which means our cash balance will dwindle down eventually. So that's why it's important to continue that we are conservative and good stewards of our funds, in which the library is, and that's how we develop that cushion thus far. So we're continuing doing that. Just wanted to, provide this information to the board.
Thank you.
That's the end of my report.
Do we have any questions on the board? Thank you so much. We're going to move on to item 6, diversity policy to the research committee. Ms. Tribble.
You, Judge, just a quick update. While interim director Keisha Galarza comes forward, in terms of the CEO search update, we began the semifinal interviews today, and we'll complete that process tomorrow. The search committee interviewing 6 semifinalists, and we'll be forwarding the names of 3 to 4 finalists to the board for the interviews that will take place on December 1st. And then also, that should be on everyone's calendar.
Is
Yeah,
that-
so,
is that starting at 9 or 10? On December 1st.
on December 1st,
We don't have the final schedule, but that's why you have the block the whole day.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, we're waiting to find out who the finalists are so we can schedule with them. Then the other thing that I hope it should be blocked on your calendars, and we're also asking community members and employees to be to come to, is on November 30th, and I do not have the exact dates on that either, but the finalists will give community presentations. And so will be an opportunity for the community to also meet and hear from the CEO finalists, and to provide feedback to the board as it makes its final, makes its decision regarding the selection of the CEO.
I understand. It's going to be the 30th, but we don't have the exact time.
We do not have the time for
Okay.
that. That's the update on the CEO search. With regard to the climate improvement plan and report, Ms. Galarza and Ms. Keisha, who's our chief DEI officer, I'm sorry, are continuing to tour branches to talk about the new reporting tool that was recently released for employees to use to make reports or concerns known to HR, make them anonymous. And the accounting and HR are reviewing the compensation for 2023. And today, Ms. Galarce will be presenting revisions for the board's review of the harassment policy and a new bullying policy for your consideration. I'll turn it over to her. Thank you.
All right. So I'm presenting resolution 58-2022. Okay. So why are we doing this resolution? These are part of the recommendation from the climate improvement process. This has the requirement for managers and employees to submit the complaints to HR. And this will bring consistency in the process and how we handle complaints. And also we are adding additional information and a new policy. So for the harassment policy, the changes that were made is we elaborated the definition of harassment, including offensive jokes, slurs, name calling, physical threats, intimidation, insults, and offensive pictures and comments related to race, color, sex, religion, national origin, age, 40 or older, disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity. We also added the communication by any means, including the phone, by email, in person, text message, social media, and other electronic means, as ICE Miller had recommended on their reporting. We also included the managers have to report this issue to the CEO and to the HR to keep consistency on the process on how we handle all the incidents. We also added new language and like if anybody believe of this and the retaliation for the harassment. Any questions on the new changes for the harassment policy?
I would recommend adding the word directly or indirectly after harassment.
Okay,
That's just because, you know, people can find, if they can find a way to get around it, they will. But that's just me, because I'm the lawyer, and I don't know how the board feels about that. On the first paragraph, which is employees from unlawful harassment. Oh, you're talking about the resolution, yeah.
okay,
The resolution related to after harassment, directly or indirectly related to an employee, or wherever it would go in the policy. I just think it's not always direct. It can be through a third party.
He's talking about the resolution, but the actual policy, the definition of policy or definition of harassment in the policy, the definition is actually not being changed. The only thing that's being changed are to provide examples of how harassment may arise, you know, through, you know, what type of examples and also.
Okay, so do we need the words directly and indirectly or just?
From my opinion, is you do not, based on the
That'll work.
definition that you have in here already.
That's fine. Then. I'll take my little council notes.
any other questions?
Any questions from the board? Hope, are you asking the we?
Yes, we are asking for the resolution for the board to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further questions or comments on resolution 58? Seeing none, can we have a call to the roll?
Mr. Biederman,
Approved.
Mr. Bixby,
Approved.
Dr. Martada,
Approved.
Ms. Payne,
Approved.
Joe Salinas,
Approved.
and Ms. Tribble.
Approved.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Resolution 59.
All right, for resolution 59-2022, this is a new policy. It's a bullying policy. And we have defined as bullying as an abusive verbal and nonverbal behavior towards another employee that a reasonable person would determine that has a nature or consequences that humiliation, denigration, or intimidation of an individual and interferes with an employee's ability to perform his, her, or their duties. We have also, we have added in the policy the ways that to report any incidents with bullying using the hotline. And also they can go directly to their manager, supervisor, and they're required to bring this into the attention to the human resources and the DEI officer. They can also come directly to the HR or the DEI officer. While talking to the union and staff association compensation committee, we have also added the language that they can be used as an advisor for any employee that believes is receiving any bullying at the workplace. Any questions?
Did ask our counsel if he's
I do have a,
vetted it and stuff.
on the very last line of the policy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of
Yeah.
non-substantive suggested provisions that should read, should be reported versus report to the manager or person in charge and be entered.
Any questions from the board on resolution 59? Hope I asking to
Yes, we are asking for board approval.
the motion to approve resolution 59. There's a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Angie, can we have a call to vote, please?
Mr. Biederman,
Approved.
Mr. Bixby,
Approved.
Dr. Matada,
Approved.
Ms. Payne,
Approved.
Joe Salinas,
Approved.
and Mr. Vole.
Approved.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
All right, so the
I'm
African,
sorry, Judge Salinas. I had a quick question. The part that says a staff association compensation committee representative may act as an advisor for any employee, a management confidential hourly position. So this is giving the staff association compensation committee representative, they're now serving as an advisor, should the employee want an advisor in this regard?
Yeah.
I got you.
so.
I know we already approved it. I
Yeah.
just didn't.
Is anybody that doesn't qualify for the union qualify for the staff association compensation committee? That- We just wanted to cover everybody.
And that's optional, right?
That's optional, that they're just advisors.
Okay.
And then since I was gonna be here, the African American History Committee asked me to provide this for you. They're gonna have the full fest of 2022 on November 19th in Central, and I would like to invite you to attend. I hope to see you all there. And that's why.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Thank you.
Hope,
That
is there any more in your
concludes the
report?
report
That concludes.
of the diversity HR.
I'm the head of my apologies. We'll move on to item 7, the facilities committee. Mr. Biggs.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only one agenda item that we have is actually 7B on our agenda for tonight. We're not gonna discuss 7A, C, or D for the first committee, but this one was of importance in urgency, and so Mr. Parsons will speak about that tonight.
Mr. Bixby, did you say B like one?
B is equal.
Just resolution 61.
And before I address that, I apologize for the heat. I
It is
called
hot.
Ellis Mechanical, and unfortunately, this was not on the occupied calendar for the automatic schedule. And so the set point for cooling was 81 degrees. We've added this. Unfortunately, units this big don't turn on a dime. And I think there's about a 30-minute delay, and we're still in minute 25.
Before thinking as the president tactic to make the meeting go faster.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it was. All right, so anyway, just want to let you know that I'm trying to address it. So yeah, item 7B, resolution 61-2022, approval to award the fixtures, furniture, and equipment, or FF&E contracts for the Glendale branch replacement project. So this was a group of fixtures, furniture, and equipment, so desks, tables, chairs, all the whatnots that go into a library, not just for patrons, but also for staff. We've worked on this for 9 months. It was sent out for bid in September. We received the bid responses in early October. Mike Coughlin worked with KRM, who's the architect on the project, to define which line items from what manufacturer and what vendor or manufacturer's rep we should choose to most benefit the library financially. There were 134 line items across 28 different manufacturers. Long and the short of it, we split it up into 2. We would like to award, we recommend to award to Business Furniture for $468,731.51, and to Office Works out of Fishers for $79,392.02.
Do we have any questions from the board?
I do just want to annotate that Business Furniture, it doesn't show it at the top. Is it WBE? We're utilizing 100%. It's on the second page.
Any additional questions or comments from the board on resolution 61? Did you want us to move forward?
Yes.
There a motion to approve resolution 61?
So moved.
There's a second?
Second.
Any further discussion from the board? Seeing none, Angie, can we have a call to roll, please?
Mr. Peterman,
Approved.
Mr. Bixby,
Approved.
Dr. Martada,
Approved.
Ms. Payne,
Approved.
Judge Salinas,
Approved.
and Mr. Wolf.
Approved.
Thank you.
Roots, okay. We'll move on to item 8, the Library Foundation. Update, Ms. Daggett is here in lieu of Reverend Robinson. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be with all of you this evening. Thank you for your leadership of the library. And we have a couple of items here that we provided for you. But before I get into that, I wanted to add a couple of congratulations. First of all, just to the staff and the board on the budget allocation from the city. That was terrific. And then also, we really appreciated the opportunity to be part of Staff Day. The staff on that I heard did a wonderful job. And that is a really valuable opportunity for us to share information about the Library Foundation and collaborate with our peers. So we appreciate that. In my basic report, which starts on page 94 of your PDF, we do have a few highlights that we want to share with you. First of all, we want to thank the Communications Department for working on the Library and Library Foundation's joint annual report. In the PDF version, I hope that that's a live link to the 2021 annual report, but you can also find it on the library's website. And we want to give you a few highlights from that. Last year in 2021, we provided $2.86 million to the library, which was 77% of all of our spending, and that's a very high percentage. Our total revenue was $6.97 million, but this was a crazy year, because we had extraordinarily high investment income. And then we also had modest growth in contributions and Indy Library Stores. So 6.97 million in revenue is not a number that we expect to hit on a regular basis. That was just a fluke with the market, but we're happy to have it. And then also, we've taken several steps that we talk about in our annual report towards developing a culture that promotes growth and effectiveness and fulfillment for our board members, volunteers, and staff. And this is also where we talk about our DEI commitment. So one thing I wanted to point out, to the question that you raised, Dr. Martada, about grants, if you want to take a look at our annual report at your convenience, our donor listing is in there. And so you can see the major funders, basically $100 up that we've received. So foundation grants, companies, individuals. And if you ever have any ideas or see things, please pass it to me and we'll evaluate that and determine if it's a good fit for something the library is trying to do. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit more about our DEI efforts in a little bit, but the other thing I just wanted to share here was that we had a wonderful reception two Friday nights ago, and it was a salute to our Black American medical heroes. And this was a collaboration, a program of the African American History Committee / Center for Black Literature and Culture. And this was something that's been an effort for about 2 years now, even before the pandemic occurred. But what we had was a reception to honor Black doctors who were nominated publicly. And their photos are now all in Central Library, and those were some good relationships to develop there. And so we had our presenting sponsor was Eskenazi Health, and then many other sponsors stepped up generously to help us, and they're all listed in your packet. And then also just want to thank the staff and share how much we enjoyed being part of the Marion McFadden Memorial Lecture with Kadir Nelson. Great turnout, included some pictures in your packet of the evening, very special. And if any of you were there, I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so before I move on to the DEI update, does anybody have any questions about the basics that I've already covered? Okay, moving on. Oh, before I forget, on the last page, I missed page 2 of this. On the last page of this, we have a list of some of our major donors who supported us, and also a list of some of the programs we've supported this month. So you can just get a sense of who's supporting us and what we're funding at the library. And if you ever have a chance to help us thank our donors, we always appreciate that. Okay. So the second page behind that in your document, in your PDF, this should be page 96, I believe. We have an update about our strategic plan, and specifically our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so just a reminder that this is something that pervades our strategic plan, from our mission to values to our goals, objectives. We really want to have all of our operations reflect our commitment to DEI. And so one of the big things that we've had to work on is just diversifying our board, especially from a racial and ethnic diversity perspective. And so I shared some statistics about the board members and our board officers, our board leaders, to show how we've grown in that regard. So for example, in August 2020, which was the year before last data point I had before our strategic plan, 8% of our board was African American, and now 17% of our board is African American. And we've also, and then on our board officer group, we're up to, we had 0 African Americans on our board officer, our executive committee in 2020. Now 20% or 1 individual is, and then we also have a Latina woman on our board executive committee now. So I'm trying to demonstrate here that both in terms of general board membership and in board leadership, we are making strides towards being more inclusive. And we're really trying to go beyond being inclusive. We're really trying to do this the right way by creating a culture where everyone feels welcome and included. And so we've been doing a lot of training for board members and reflections. And so we list some of them here in the packet, but we have something about, we talked about philanthropic traditions in the Black community with the work of Madam C.J. Walker's Gospel of Giving. We've done watched webinars and had conversations about the truth about board diversity, looking at research on that subject, and then also thinking about what does it mean for us to be more welcoming and do diversity the right way, if you will. We had a very interesting training back in September, and Michelle really helped us with this, but we had our board meeting at the Martindale Brightwood Branch Library. And we had a walk and talk where board members did neighborhood walk with Samson Livingston. And then we had the National Center for Racial Equity and Inclusion at Martin University do a training on asset-based philanthropy. And what we really wanted people to see, in addition to hearing from the branch manager, of course, was that, assets exist in all neighborhoods. And that if we as a board, when we're representing the library to donors or talking about neighborhoods we're serving, it's very important that we know what the strengths of the neighborhoods we are, so that we can, number one, be better ambassadors for the library's funding needs, but then number two, as people join us or are with us currently or can join us more from neighborhoods like this, if board members will feel more welcome, staff will feel more welcome if others in the organization are familiar with the strengths of the neighborhoods they call home. And so those were the points that we really tried to drive home in that training. That was really effective, I thought. We've had several of our, all of our staff members have attended the Racial Equity Institute, and we're sending board members to the groundwater training through Central Indiana Community Foundation. Our staff members did bystander intervention, and we're looking forward to partnering and being part of future trainings the libraries offers. So I just want to show you that we're trying to do more than just update the numbers of our board, which is important, but we're really trying to create that culture where everybody can feel welcome and included. And then also just our support of the library. You know, we support a lot of programs that celebrate and serve diverse groups. And I provided a list of those here. Center for Black Literature and Culture, Meet the Artist, Fall Fest, international festivals, bilingual financial literacy workshops, story times and book clubs, world language book giveaways, conversation circles for English language learners, Indiana youth groups, rainbow readers, and staff training in racial equity and LGBTQ+ competency. So that's all driven by what the library asks us to fund, and then we do our best to match up donor interest or grant opportunities with those priorities. So that's basically just a little update. I felt like it's been something that we've been talking about for a while. I feel like I owe you all an update on this and how much of a priority this is. And so I welcome any questions you may have.
Any questions from the board?
Thank you for that report.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you for your
welcome.
partnership.
Oh, we love it. We're so proud and grateful and excited to be part of the library. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item 9, report from our interim CEO.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am bringing forth Finances, Personnel, and Travel Resolution 64-2022. This is routine procedural action that appoints new salaried hires, approves new hourly hires, compensation changes, resignations, and travel and financial related claims and warrants. The financial impact has already been accounted for in the budget.
Anything that comes, it's all normal routine,
Yes,
nothing that stands out.
all perfunctory.
Any questions on resolution 64 from the board? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve resolution 64?
So moved.
There's a second. Second. Additional questions or discussions? Not seeing none, Angie, can we have a call to roll, please?
Mr. Biederman,
Okay.
Mr. Bigsby,
Approved.
Dr. Martada,
Approved.
Ms. Payne,
Approved.
Judge Salinas,
Approved.
and Ms. Tribble.
Approved.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. My letter to the board, I'm gonna do high level. It is contained in the board packet for your perusal if you'd like to read over the entire document. We did have staff day on October the 10th. It was very well received by staff members. They were excited to be able to gather together again for the first time in several years in person. We were learning through play. We had a lot of music, a lot of fun. Our keynote speaker did a lot of things to get us to move around and talk to each other. And so we got the feedback from staff on that, and they were very, very excited. So we're glad about that. And HR is here, obviously, Tisha Galarse and Kimberly Brown Harden, who is our training manager. So we want to thank them and the rest of the committee for their work. So it was very well received, and we're excited about what we can do next year. People really like the chair massages and they want those to come back. As well as a nice long lunch. Couple of other things we're working on. Sorry, I jumped a little bit. So Shanika Hayward, who is our IT director, held a statewide conference for the Northern Indiana Computer Consortium. So that was an opportunity where she was able to have IT people come throughout the state and kind of share best practices and learn from each other and kind of get out of their bubbles a little bit and interact more. And so that was very beneficial for our staff as well as others. And we appreciate Shanika's direction and leadership in that. Roberta already mentioned Salute to Black Medical Heroes. It was an amazing event, very inspiring. And many of the doctors mentioned that they don't really get recognized in that way, even though they're doing work every day to literally save people's lives. People just kind of go, okay, and move on. And so they're very excited that they were honored in that way. So we want to thank the African American History Committee. I made a presentation to 100 Black Men, which is a youth mentoring organization. We did go before the municipal committee, and that final request was approved and went through the full city county council. And we are very appreciative for everyone who worked on that. So we will have additional funds for salaries for next year, as well as additional spots for full-time employees. So we're working now on how we're going to distribute that. So really that goes to kudos for everybody in our organization for working so hard in interacting with city county council. We're still going to be advocating for additional community option income tax. And as I said before, we're still working on how we're going to distribute the raises, and we're working with the Staff Association Compensation Committee as well as the union. And then we're going to come together with the consensus. So everything is transparent and above board, and we're trying to make sure that things are evened out, especially for people that have been here 20 years and longer, because often they've been left out of those budget talks and they've missed out on some things. We're still moving forward with the climate improvement plan, and we have the updated web page. So if you go to IndyPL.org and look for climate improvement plan, you will find that. The reporting hotline tool is up. We've already talked about that. Just want to talk about my vision for IndyPL as a whole. What I would like to do is to make us an employer of choice. But when we have openings, people say, that's a place where I want to work. It's a good environment. They pay well. And it's a place where you want to go and support the community. And that's what we're working toward. For that to become a reality, we're going to have to reevaluate some of our current practices and remove the ones that no longer serve us. And so we're going to need to look for best practices across the nation and move in a positive direction. Working smarter, not harder is going to be our key. And all of our departments are going to have to be reassessed. We're definitely looking at scheduling to see how we can improve that and give more work-life balance for employees, because that's something that they've been asking about, so that they can spend time with their families. So it might be that somebody really likes the weekends or the nights or the mornings, and try to reassess that. So we're going to be working with public services as well as the union and staff association, how we can work all of that out. Kudos to a lot of staff that are doing great jobs. Mike Perkins, Rhonda Oliver, Jared in the Curve. Every day, people are doing small and large things to positively impact our community, and we really appreciate that. And in conclusion, the state of the library is steadily improving. We have a bright future ahead, and as we all work together with a common goal to support lifelong learning in the city of Indianapolis, I'm very excited about our future. And that concludes my report.
Any questions from the board? Good. Thank you. All right, we move on to item 12. This time has been available for discussion on items on the agenda which are of interest to board members, the opportunity given to suggest items to be included for future board meetings. If you have any, please feel free to give me an email or send me an email. Our next board meeting is November 28th, 2022 at 6:30. 6:30. Oh, one more thing from our CEO.
I apologize. The Center for Black Literature and Culture is going to be celebrating their 5th anniversary on Saturday. And so that's going to be from 11 to 4 at Central 40 East St. Clair, free and open to the public. We're going to have a DJ, 360 photo booth. There's going to be January York, who's our poet laureate. We're going to have someone from the Colts. So it's going to be a fun day for everyone. And we just thank the entire system for supporting us for 6 years for this effort. And so you should all pat yourselves on the back. It's really become a place that people are talking about all over the country. And we're glad that we have it here in Indianapolis.
Thank you for that final item. Again, Monday, November 28th at 6:30 is the next board meeting. We hope everyone can make it. And with that, I'll call the meeting, or I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank,
We have one more.
I just wanted to thank Ms. Campbell for following through on our request to really speak to issues of financial management. Thank you so much. As the board continues to be really guiding and supporting the things that Michelle has brought to our attention, the financial health is so very important. So thank you.